Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a little recipe for y'all. We recently acquired some deer meat from Bryce's grandpa, so I'm going to make a deer and beer mac and cheese. This recipe just turned out kind of okay. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, but I'm going to take you along for the journey. So there's the deer meat right there. And I'm just going to chop that up. I'm kind of chopping it a little slow here because I wasn't sure how it was going to like slice, if it was just going to fall out of the casing. But it stayed in the casing just fine. So I'm just cutting that into little dices. I'm going to put some oil into the pan here. Let that heat up. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So I know this isn't very Christmassy, but it's what I was up to this day. Kind of, oh, and there we go. We're gonna cook up the pasta. So there's the pasta right there. I just kind of guesstimate the water. I don't really listen to what the box says. And I obviously didn't put the full box in there because that would be a lot. And then you always gotta salt your pasta while it boils. Give it some extra flavor. Make it boil faster or slower. I don't know. Just gonna give that a little zhuzh. And now we're gonna go ahead and boil up the beer, which will make the base for our cheese sauce for the mac and cheese. So I'm just putting about a cup in here. And I'm using Coors Banquet. And I think that was a really good beer choice for this recipe. So something similar to that might work for you. Also, I'm filming this voiceover in one take, so it might be filled with errors. So there I'm just kind of testing to see how hot the oil is. If you put a wooden spoon in and it bubbles, then it's ready to go. So I wasn't sure how I was going to react to the sausage, so I put one in to kind of see. And then I was trying to be careful at first, and then I was like, screw it. I'm just going to dump all this in here. Kind of give it a little zhuzh, put the timer on, check on the pasta. And then we're going to get some flour, and I actually end up messing this up because I misread the recipe. And you'll see why in a minute. You'll see how badly I mess it up. But then I'm just kind of whisking away. And that's when I realized that the pasta was boiling over, and I kept messing with the wrong knobs before I realized I should just take it off the heat. There I am, moving it back after it calms down. So I actually managed to put that same amount of flour into this. So I thought it was supposed to be a cup, and I managed to get like 3/4 of a cup in before I realized something's wrong. You just saw me. I'm like, there's me putting more beer in. Like, this is not the right consistency. Yeah, look at that big clump. Just be glad you're not that pot right now. I was hitting, and then that's when I realized I was supposed to put in 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons, not a whole cup. There's me saying second try. I had to get a whole nother thing of beer. But that's okay. Pouring that in there, letting it kind of fizz down a little bit. Yeah, 3 tablespoons, not a whole cup. I don't know how I got that mixed up, but I did. Oh well, we started over. We washed it out. We're getting in there. So now I'm just going to pour that in there, try to get it to boil again. I'm going to drink this other one. Also, at some point in this process, oh, the pasta's ready. Time to dump that. Also, my trick for pasta, if it's cooks faster than the other things, run some cold water on it to keep it from sticking. It's honestly best to not do that because then you have the starches from the water in there. But if it's going to be sitting there for a minute, go ahead and rinse it with cold water so it doesn't stick. Anyways, I just want to also point out that there's flour on my shirt and I have no idea how it got there. So, fun! So now I think our sausages are about ready. So I'm going to go ahead, put a little paper towel down. Honestly, in hindsight, I wouldn't have put the paper towel down because I think the recipe needed some of those juices and greases from the meat. There I am, just getting all the meat out. I put a little bit too much oil in too, and I left them on there a little bit too long. So that is that. And there is our tablespoon. Jeez. Tablespoon, not cup. 3 tablespoons, that is. If there's long pauses, I just want you to know that I'm burping, but I'm trying not to burp into the microphone that I'm using right now. And then we're going to stir. And then I think there's 2 more of these. So when you're doing flour, you want to do just like a little bit at a time. You also want to make sure you're putting in the correct amount. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about that because I'm sure it's getting annoying by now. Look at the powder. And it's just steaming away. Yep. Kind of speed that up. Takes a lot of... This recipe is a lot of stirring. It's really not that hard except for all of the stirring. All right. And I have made this before with Shiner Bach, and that was a little bit too intense. Ooh, it's cheese time. The best part of the dish. Cheese. I'm just going to open that. We obviously eat a lot of cheese because we have this huge bag of cheese. And we're going to put 2 cups in. So this is the first cup right here. Anyways, I made this recipe before with Shiner Bach, but it was a little bit too intense. And also I feel like the deer meat that we used this time was maybe a little too lean for what we needed. But also I overcooked it, so I feel like I'm not giving it a true fair chance. Cheese! There's the second cup of cheese. And we just kind of melted that down, made like a little cheese goo sauce. I did end up putting a little bit of heavy cream, which the recipe doesn't say. I'll put the real recipe down below. Put a little bit of cream to give it some creamy texture. I said that'd be better than the beer because I didn't want the beer flavor to be too intense. And then I'm putting all the seasonings in. Time to put the sausage in. And then we grab the pasta and see it flows nicely in there since I rinsed it. It doesn't all stick together. Then we're going to grab our spoons and just kind of mix all that together. I kind of do like a little salad toss type thing. Put a little bit more beer in to kind of get the sauce to be the right consistency. I had trouble getting the sauce to not be like so stringy. I added a little bit of butter too. Because like what mac and cheese recipe doesn't have any like butter or fat in it? That's weird. Anyway. We use a lot of butter, in case you couldn't tell by the giant tub of it. We're Paula Deen up in this bitch. And there's the finished product. Except I forgot, like, the most important seasonings, which you'll see. Oh, I'm just putting everything away. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot literally the most important thing. Salt and pepper. Every dish should have salt and pepper. Every dish that you make should have salt and pepper. They're like the cornerstones of all cooking. They're life. Salt. It looks like I put a lot more salt in here than I actually did. I promise. It was tasty. It was definitely not over salty. Just putting everything away. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I should leave. Bye. Thanks for watching.